It's an overcast day here in Canberra for the continuation of the NAB Challenge Series between two teams that have quickly built up a passionate rivalry in the AFL. Fans from both teams pour into the ground today with the expectation they'll see the best of their teams as the AFL season is just 2 weeks away. As the Sydney Swans take the field, they've been a bit indifferent in the NAB series so far. They were pretty poor against the Brisbane Lions in Coffs Harbour, but last week at Drummoyne against the Fremantle Dockers, they were super impressive and have a very strong side to pick from today. Hello and welcome to Star Trek Oval here in Canberra. Joining me in commentary, the greatest Collingwood footballer of all time, he just told me, Tony Shaw. NAB Challenge is different processes for each week, but NAB 3, very different again.
Oh, yeah, like I said, 2 weeks from the real McCoy, you've got to get everything right. I think one thing, players want to play well knowing they're going to go up against opposition in 2 weeks' time. Yep. And just your structures and setups that you want as a team, you have to get it right today, I would think. Well,
let's hear about all the structures for the Sydney Swans as assistant coach from the Sydney Swans joins us, Stewie Dew. Now, Dewy, welcome and thanks for your time. You've got the reins today. What's that mean for you? It's part of your process.
Oh, just a good experience, I guess. You get a bit of time in front of the senior players. The box of work is pretty similar. I think we've all play our parts, not one bloke, so yeah, good experience.
Well, speaking of the box, how it's going to work, what's John Longmire going to do? Is he just going to be passively sitting in the back, or is he going to roll today?
No, he will be in the back, but he's still there. We need him, so he's still there to bounce a few things off, but ultimately he has taken a bit of a step back.
Let's have a look at your lineup today. Obviously a pretty strong side you're going to go in with, and I mean, you can tell us about a few of your players. Sure, you made a particular note about one of the subs.
Yeah, just Tommy Mitchell, the sub. You know, people are saying, is he on the edge? Is he going to be in the midfield for the Swans? What's the thinking behind starting him as a sub?
Yeah, with Tommy, we'd probably Craig Bird did a really good job last week. So in this case, this week, Tommy's a sub, but expect him to come on and he'll play through in the inside mid.
Now, Nick Balcheski, he's missing from the side, of course. He's moved on, but Gary Rowan, is that speed factor coming off halfback?
Yeah, Gary be there. We got Shorey, but also Lewis Jetty would have seen him play a little bit there as well. So Dean Towers can play halfback as well.
Thanks for your time. All the best for today and the remainder of the season.
Thank you. Good on you, mate.
Great to have a chat to the assistant coach of the Sydney Swans as the GWS come out. Now, they have been super impressive through the pre-season. NAB won. They had a very good win over the Gold Coast Suns, and then they backed up with a win last week against the Essendon Football Club as well.
I think this could be their side. This could be the side that starts the AFL season in 2015. Patton's the one missing, of course, but he'll be missing for the year as such. So, yeah, look, they've improved. I think they have to win at least another 3 to 4 games to make all that recruiting worthwhile and all the youth that they've got there and the talent.
Well, let's have a look at that full strength side that you speak of, and just once you get a bit more of experience, it looks much better. And certainly Pat Foote, centre half back, best and fairest winner from the Brisbane Lions, and Griffin, just a quality midfielder at the peak of his game, goes straight into the middle.
Oh, two great pickups in that you know that they can. I think Joel Patfull's been a star. Yeah. He's won 2 best and fairest at the Brisbane Lions, and he has played above his weight a lot of times in his career. And Griffin, you just know, he's an out-and-out superstar. Probably could be a Brownlow medalist in the future.
Well, we've heard from the Sydney Swans coach. Now let's hear from the GWS Giants coach, Leon Cameron. He's with Ben Dixon.
Thanks, Lynchy. Leon, strong team today, but the beauty about going to round one is the players you've got to pick from. I mean, 30 to 32 for round one's a great position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, touch wood, hopefully we get through today in terms of injuries. The first 2 weeks we've only really lost Jacob Townsend for a couple of weeks. But there's pressure on for spots, and there were 7 or 8 guys that were playing today in the earlier game that, keen to play round one.
And Joel Patfull, Ryan Griffin, much talked about, but the Joel Patfull scenario in terms of your backline, that's what was missing a bit last year, the flexibility in the smalls and talls, but the chemistry's right there now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Look, we obviously missed Timmy Moore and Phil Davis for a number of games last year in terms of key defensive posts. We know what Joel can do. He can play on talls and smalls. He brings that, probably air of confidence in terms of experience to our young group. So we're looking forward to, you have another game with us today.
And Cam McCarthy, as raw as he is, he brings a bit of excitement. 6 goals in his 2 games. Are you sold on him for round one?
I mean, it's obviously a big challenge for Cam here today. As I sort of said, it's going to take time. He's going to have some ups and downs. His last 2 weeks have been obviously a lot of upside. He's had a really, really good pre-season, along with James Stewart. Those 2 sort of guys are sort of putting their hand up for probably that 3rd tall spot. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out today.
Good luck today.
Good on you.
Certainly has a very exciting list to pick from, and looking forward to that round one game. It should be a fantastic game and plenty of talent out there. Now let's hear from Roger Aldridge from ladbrokes.com.au with today's odds.
Thanks, Lynchy. It's been a real rivalry round in the final week of the NAB Challenge, and the Giants would love nothing more than to head to the season proper on the back of a win over the Swans. And if you, like the teams, are eyeing round one, our early markets are up now, as are those for the Premiership and various medals and awards. So head over to ladbrokes.com.au to check them out. But remember, gamble responsibly. Lynchy, back to you.
Thanks, Roger. A good crowd starting to pour into Star Track Oval. The first bounce and Matty Campbell after the break.
Welcome back to Star Track Oval here in Canberra, the nation's capital. It'll be one of 4 games that the Giants will play, 1 pre-season game and then 3 in the season proper. 20 degrees is the forecast. It is pretty cool here in Canberra with an overcast day, as Alistair mentioned. From a player's perspective, this is an ideal day to play footy. This is the sort of day that you love to play with the sun behind the clouds and you're not feeling any effect from the heat. So the players will enjoy this. The surface looks to be in good condition, as it always is here at Star Track Oval. And from the players' perspective, they're trying to fine-tune everything before they get to the season proper in 2 weeks' time. Players are just finishing up their chats, so we might go down to Ben Dixon a little bit earlier and say good afternoon to him once again. Ben, what are you looking forward to at ground level?
Thanks, Matty. We know the strengths of the 2 teams, but I want to focus on the Franklin-Phil Davis match-up today. Davis had a great record last year on him. Got injured in round 1 with a kidney, but kept him to 1 goal. And then previously when Phil was at Adelaide, he had a great record on Franklin, and Leon Cameron was in the box for Hawthorn during those days. So he knows how Franklin likes to play. I'm just keen on watching whether he can bumper bar him, not let him turn himself around, because we know when Franklin goes back to goal, he's obviously nearly impossible. And his game last year, he went to another level. So big watch for me in the first quarter, the Franklin-Davis matchup.
Thanks, Ben. And we just saw Callum Ward win the toss, so the Giants will kick to the right of screen.
Should be a cracking game. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It should be a very good game. Both teams nearing full strength. A couple of big names out for the Sydney Swans still, but just to see this young team develop over the last 12 months, we saw their best and their worst probably too often. The gap was too wide during last season, but with that extra experience we spoke about pre-game, Shorey, we'll see whether they can narrow that gap.
Yeah, well, I expect them to win at least another 3 to 4 games. When you've had that many picks, first-round picks as they have had, you need to show that talent up. And the other thing, you're talking about Buddy Franklin. You know, the Swans went to him 37% of the time last year. And I remember the Hawks said when he played in their last premiership, the year before they were about that level, and the Hawks said, no, we cannot afford to have one option only. And they brought it back to about 24, 25% and won a premiership. So you've got to have multiple options. Tippett's not there today, so we'll just see how it works and how they set up in their forward line without Tippett up there.
Yeah, from memory, I think he kicked 23% of their goals for the season.
A really sustained chat by the Sydney Swans, arm in arm. A long chat from Kieran Jack. So we're talking about a NAB Challenge game. Round 3 is still 2 weeks away from the season, as we touched on, but a long chat from Kieran Jack. So well, they're obviously pretty keen on what they want to try to achieve today. You've got to set the scene, because you're not going to have a match practice next week other than intra-club, and you know you never get up for those sort of things. This is where you set the scene about how you want to attack it, and there's the matchup. Well, Dicko's all over that. Phil Davis, as we said, he said to the coach, I want to take that role on against Buddy. So he has had a fairly good record only in a short period of time. And as Ben said, he thinks Davis needs to keep behind Franklin and push him up the ground. As we're underway here at Star Track, first bounce of the ball, and the first possession will come out wide. It'll come towards Hanbury. He misses it. Kelly to Ward. Here's Griffin. So the 2 Bulldogs, or former Bulldogs, combine out in front of Tomlinson, who's on his bike early. Not intended for Griffin, but he's got it anyway. Back to Tomlinson. Loads up from 60 metres out. Kicks into the pocket. And we've got our first boundary throw-in.
That pre-game speech, I think there'll be a little bit in it as well. The cross-town rivalry, sometimes that gets talked up a little bit, but they don't want to get rolled by these guys as well. Well,
they did last year in the first game.
Round 1 last year certainly sat the Sydney Swans back on their haunches, and they had a really sluggish start to the season on the back of that. And they picked it up all right once the season got going. They won 12 straight after round 5.
You talked about Buddy Franklin, Shorey. I'd like to go look at those stats and see what it was like, say, in the last 6 weeks of the season when Tippett was playing more football and was, I guess, more of a focal point, whether that percentage started to look a bit better. Hence, they made the grand final.
Yep.
Here's Hanbury trying to break out of their defensive 50. And he's caught.
That'll be Smith with the free kick.
Good goal kicker. I think Devon Smith, he understands he can kick this distance here, so he's taken the responsibility on, which I love in a young player, but we know that he is a beautiful kick. This will test.
He's going to kick from outside the 50 for 9 points. A super goal to start, not to be. He pulls it left, trying to get that extra distance. And the Giants are on the board.
That's the incorrect disposal and very good tackle from Devon Smith.
Swans on the way out. Franklin over the top with a big jump. His first attack on the ball. And that might be in the back from Pike, so it's going to come all the way back to young Core. Aiden Core, 14 games so far for the Giants.
Switches on.
So Heath Shaw, who gets going quickly and goes towards Cameron, who gets rid of his opponent, and that's going to be a free kick.
Yeah. He sort of stumbled into him there, just misread the play, I think, or misread the flight of the ball.
Hard to dispute that one.
Just for a second, though, the umpire just was a little bit slow on the whistle. I thought he's missed it. Reid places it onto the chest of Hanbury. He's got Goods going past, takes on Mumford, just rolls straight through him. Not easy to do. A kick to Franklin. He's forced to punch. Goods covers up, gets his own crumb. Bird, Shaw, Reece Shaw squaring kick, finds Heaney, and Isaac Heaney will have first shot at goal here for the Swans.
Did some nice things in his first 2 NAB appearances. Isaac Heaney took a very nice mark last week at Drummoyne as well. Looks like obviously he's been much talked about, but pre-season's out of the road now, and he's actually performing on the track.
Nice start by Adam Goods too. Comes to the bench for a quick spell. He's looking in good nick, Adam Goods. A veteran now. Heaney from 50. It is the scoring end here at Star Trek, usually left of screen, and he bangs it straight through. So he gets the goal, and the Swans get the first.
Well, I agree with you about Adam Goods. There's a lot of people who think that Adam Goods maybe shouldn't have gone on again this year. It might be past him, but I think he'd love the challenge. There's no doubt. He doubled up on a number of occasions. Should have been tackled there by Mumford, but just didn't. Broke through it and then followed up here with, you know, he can play, and he just set it up beautifully by hand from there. And Reece Shaw, a good kick inside 50.
Yeah, 35 now, Goods.
Amazing, isn't it?
A motivated Adam Goods is going to cause some enormous headaches for opposition teams.
Well, even if it's the perception of what he's done in the past,
well, that's right.
You worry about it in the coach's box.
I just think over the long year, you just manage him, don't you?
Yep.
And you get the best out of him.
They'll be managing that kid, and he's looked very good, Heaney.
Yep. So the Swans with the first, and now the Giants on the rebound. Ward to Patfield, back to Kelly, back to Ward, and out comes Franklin and gets him high. Ward doesn't worry about it. He's as tough as nails, and he keeps moving quickly. And it's a beautiful kick to Green. Almost, it's a little bit wet underfoot in the middle. Cameron his target, and as we often see with Cameron, times his run and he slides in to take the mark.
He made up some great ground over the last 5 metres there and just lowered his body down to take that chest mark. Outstanding. But great play from Ward across half back. He saw Franklin coming, took the hit, played on, and then hit the target as well across half forward.
I think that's where you get Teddy Richards, a long sustained lead. He even led to the other pocket here, Cameron, and then double back to this area.
So Cameron from outside 50 gets the distance easily, slams it through. He gets his first, and good signs for the Giants. A fit Jeremy Cameron, it brings people through the gates.
It's an amazing stat, but Jeremy Cameron, when you talk about a bloke called Buddy Franklin, let's have a look at this now. Wow, there wasn't a lot in that. It slipped up, of course. And you don't want to hit Callum Ward in the head because that's his hardest part of his body.
He'll go fast.
Yeah, it doesn't worry him. But Jeremy Cameron has kicked more goals in the first 3 years of his career than what Buddy Franklin did at the same stage. And it's only 1 or 2, but it just shows you the level of how great this man can be when he plays the game.
Yeah, already been an All-Australian forward. Fairly handy player, and he'll play a major role. If he has a big year, GWS can be knocking on the door of the 8.
Back in the middle, Mumford up against Pike. Pike winning that one, was trying to find Jetta. Canelio in the way. Now Griffin got down, got it, gave it over to Shield, caught on his wrong side, stolen by Rowan. Rowan pushes it in the Franklin direction. Almost there for Buddy. Patfull tidying up, lost his footing. Shaw under some real pressure. Core left it go for Whitfield, and quick hands will see the Giants get out of trouble.
Two Swans down behind play, Matty. They've hit heads, I think.
Crash of heads, you'd say.
It's Rowan and Franklin, I believe.
Got to stop the game here. Oh, yeah, Franklin's gone. Adam Goods, as we can see in picture.
Yeah, Franklin seems to be the worst of the two, although Gary Rowan is back down now, but Franklin hasn't moved much at all.
See, coming in.
Oh, boy.
Big crash.
Oh, hit him.
Left cheekbone for Franklin.
And he hit his head too, Lynchy, as he hit the ground.
Yeah, so he's out now.
He's out now, yeah.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Well, that's not what the Sydney Swans fans want to see. First quarter of their last game before the season starts, and their marquee player unconscious on the ground.
And Gary Rowan, who's had so many problems with injuries now. Rowan's jogging to the interchange bench.
Might have got a corky in that too, I think.
And still plenty of concern around Buddy Franklin down there.
Very similar to Jack Zeeble yesterday in the North Melbourne-Richmond game. He was actually out for, they think, over a minute, so he looked not in great shape, obviously, Buddy, but concerns will be for the round one.
No, he's awake now, Ben. He's trying to get up, matter of fact, but they won't allow that to happen, I wouldn't think. Bit
of blood just dripping from Gary Rowan's nose.
Yeah, he's a bit sore, isn't he? And that is in the leg. I mean, he's obviously his head's sore, but he's got an issue with the leg as well.
We know the doctors take enormous precautions here.
Dr. Gibbs, he's been with the Sydney Swans for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, it's been a long time. New South Wales Rugby League as well.
Now, Buddy's trying to get up here. The medical staff, they're fantastic, and they'll be saying, you don't move. You don't move until we get you stabilised away in the rooms and whatever.
From memory, boy, I can't remember him ever getting knocked out in an AFL game before, so some players react differently, obviously, when they've been knocked out and stuff like that, but he's wanting to get up, which is interesting.
Yeah, it was a solid hit. I'm not sure he actually knows where he is at the moment.
So thoughts there for John Longmire in the background. We know that Stewie Dew's in charge today, but you know, we heard from Leon Cameron. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that we get through today without any serious injuries, and that's exactly what all AFL coaches want.
Yeah, you want to get some good form, get some final minutes into your players, and then get off unscathed. But yeah, concerns from all people here at the ground.
Where he got hit too, like if you get a facial, like a head, you can crack a cheekbone.
It looked like a cheekbone.
Yeah, didn't it? Where the area, and that's the thing you probably can't play with either.
Well, the two subs for the Sydney Swans are Robinson and Mitchell, so no real key forwards there, or not a lot of height there. Midfielders both, or midfielder forwards.
Well, you would think Adam Goods might play a bigger role in the forward line, I would think. They just throw the other person into the midfield. He's
gone straight towards the forward line. And Naismith, the other tall, will get forward as well. So let's try to give you as much information as possible on Buddy Franklin. There's Gary Rowan, the new jumper. As soon as we can find out from the Sydney Swans medicos.
Well, the issue is he looks like he's got a corky on near the shin area or on the outside of his leg, Gary Rowan. I just saw him put the ice pack on, so it's nothing to do. Look, he'd have a sore head. He looks like he might have hit his nose, and that's why it was bleeding. But he had he's got the ice pack in his hand. You can see in the background there. Looks like a corky on the bottom part of his leg.
Which you'd be pretty happy with at this stage, I would have thought.
To what it could have been.
Oh, absolutely. Just really hard head clash, and Gary Rowan just seeing how his mate is.
So Franklin into the rooms, and we're back with the action. And Ben will be working hard to find out what he can. For all the Sydney fans watching around Australia.
Eye contact there, or holding in that stoppage.
Parker now. So the restructure is Naismith as the key forward. Pike presenting though. He's going to take on Treloar. Just gets his kick in time. Inside the forward 50. Chance here for Jack, getting there first. Now Towers. He runs onto it. He puts it across the body. He kicks the goal, Dean Towers.
And Dean Towers is one of those players really trying to cement himself in the side. Played some games late in the season last year, but plays across half forward, and he's quite dangerous as well. We'll just see the ball come in here. it's very important that you make the most of your opportunities. Pushes back towards goal, then has a second lead, doesn't get involved again, but still stays involved in the contest. And it was the third attempt to get to the ball, was the one that paid dividends. Great attack on the ball from Jack as well to keep the ball going forward.
The other thing out of that replay, Nick Haynes will know now, you push your man outside the corridor, don't run outside and allow him
to come back
inside. So you just learn, those youngsters will learn the positioning once they see that again during the week.
Jack couldn't quite get over towards Laidler, and he gets it anyway. Just a little fumble from Reece Shaw. Coming in as Palmer. Laidler again, good solid tackle by McCarthy. Trying to win it back, and the young fella goes over the top. We'll have a ball up inside the Giants' 50.
Jeremy Laidler playing defence for the Swans. Matty, I think it was, we were talking about Lynch and myself about 3 to 4 years ago when it was the best intercept mark in the competition playing at Carlton.
Yeah.
That was his first year at Carlton after leaving Geelong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Green looked up, saw Goods coming. They go backwards. Core to Bug to Davis. Now with a new roll. And he switches it to Whitfield. Now he's trying to draw the man to give it to Haynes. Now he does. Reid had read it pretty well. Haynes just keeps the ball inside the boundary line over the top of Palmer, and still going. Grundy. Swans run it out by hand. Now it's Rampy. Goods his target. And just getting in the way there, Core, just to allow Shaw to come through and take the mark.
He did that nicely.
Yeah, he did.
Gee, they're switching well, GWS, though.
Kelly. Oh, Green took the tackle. Laidler wraps him up. Wants a free kick, doesn't get it.
Spot on there, looking across half-back to switch and go really quickly. To the credit of the Swans' defence, they've been able to transition to block it off at the other end.
Palmer, quick kick, it's just smothered. Comes back to Smith for Sydney. His kick out in front of Towers. Hoskin Elliott pressuring him. Towers back to Rampy. Good running by Shaw. Kept going. Kept in the contest. Shorts it back in the middle. Lloyd draws the man. Hanbury gone. On the ball. Didn't know Hoskin Elliott was coming.
Just looked off the pace a bit, hasn't he?
Just easing into the
Dan Hanbury, yeah,
easing into the season.
Kelly again on the outlet, this time to Patfull. In turn, Green by hand to the run of Treloar. And he doesn't know that Jetta's coming. Just got the handball in time. Cunningham picks it up down low, gives it to Parker. Parker to Jetta. Off a step. Now, outsizing Kelly was Naismith.
And that was because Davis pushed forward. He tried to drag Naismith forward, but he stayed back.
And Sydney go back from Parker to Reid. That's a poor turnover. Can the Giants make them pay? Palmer cut it off, gave it to Green. That's Cameron at his best. Whether he's sliding in or stretching, he doesn't drop too many. Palmer wants it to slow down. He's got to run it. Sean for 9 points. Heath Shaw. And to the line, and here's McCarthy.
That was a well-judged grab.
I watched him play in the under-18s for Western Australia, and I thought, he's got something, this guy. He's got something, what it is. And as you guys talked about at the start, he's kicked 3 goals in both NAB Challenge games.
He's shown plenty. And when they actually drafted him, you thought, geez, they're going for another big forward.
He should just slot this through for the Giants' second. He does. And the continuing improvement of Cameron McCarthy on show here in Canberra.
Ben Dixon, you want to have a look at this stoppage?
Yeah, I mean, on the wider view, boys, all the GWS are on the left-hand side of this stoppage. In their NAB 2 games previously, they're just setting up so much better than they did last year. Their halfbackers are coming up as well, just putting a bit of pressure on their centre-forward stuff, which is giving them the flexibility to be composed with the ball, and then their forwards are getting much more of a look. Just noticeably on their last year, well better structured.
2 goals apiece, the Giants up by 1. So now Naismith goes into the ruck to take on Tomlinson. Not your first choice for either side.
No.
We've got a holding free kick, and Josh Kennedy will take it.
Tomlinson's played in just about every position for the Giants over the last few years.
Kennedy's kick, not a good one. It just wobbled towards Pike, who threw it. Not picked up. Bird to Cunningham. Kept it going there, the Swans, but as we often see, Heath Shaw rolls back to be on that last line, and then he loves to run it out. Kicks long, kicks over the top. Richards reading it better than Cameron on that occasion and takes the mark.
Yeah, they just didn't quite coordinate that well enough. Jeremy Cameron went to go back, which is what Heath Shaw saw, but then surged forward.
Numbers for the Swans here. Lloyd. He keeps it short and he drills it towards Goods.
Oh,
gets him.
Good mark.
That is amazing. It's amazing the build-up at Lynchy, because he was in front, Goodsy, but lost front position and still worked his way to get a 50-50 on that kick.
Well, yeah, he led off Joel Patfull. There was a handover where Phil Davis has tried to jump back in there and help Patfull out, but under pressure, low, Goods took a great grab.
So he's only going to kick from 35 metres out. We'll get the angle right behind him. It does go a little bit left to right sometimes here. But that one doesn't. That's perfect. Goods gets his first for the afternoon. Sydney get their third.
Well, I'm trying to... It's interesting to see where this is the defensive now. Look at the gap there, though. That should have been filled earlier. Now, I think it's Palmer's gone there late. He should have been in there a little bit earlier, and some of their half forwards come down to help where Palmer was standing initially, but that was too big a gap just over the mark.
That's just strength, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's great strength under pressure from a quality defender as well. But, yeah, I think probably what the major issue there was, Phil Davis was the one in front, but didn't remain in front, stayed for the one-on-one as a handover. Yep. So the hole opened up in front. So Joel Patfull is the man.
Back in the middle. This time Naismith winning the knock and coming through Robinson.
Yeah, that's head high. Yeah.
Yep. And he's onto the ground in place of Franklin. Goes to the outer side. Not a well-directed kick, an easy one for Core to take on the chest, and Curtly Hampton curls around him for the kick. Now Smith. Presenting for him Green, who's working that outer side of the ground. Put on a couple of kilos. You look at Toby Green over the summer. He's beefed up a bit in the gym. Kennedy didn't quite take possession. Mumford can. They're all over Mummy. And the ball up.
That's the thing you notice with these younger sides. You get these 18, 19, then 20-year-old players have had 3 or 4 years in the gym now, so they're getting a lot stronger.
They're starting to get a bit more, yeah. Reece Shaw, up and under kick. Robinson has to wait. And in the end, he punches it over the line defensively.
Just down in the rooms before, Gary Rowan was just starting to do a few run-throughs and get back up and going, just that corky, just to see if it's something they can warm up and get him back out there. Otherwise, they'll just sub him out of the game.
I didn't like the look of that. That wasn't a real run.
Didn't convince the coach.
It was a limp through that.
Maybe he was just doing that inside before he got outside to do the good one.
Now Heaney wears one in the face where he's down. That kick straight into the bonds. Hard ball to win here. Hampton gets up with it, tries to wrestle past Kennedy, can't do it. Bit of Falcon work from Heaney.
Oh, that's flush. That is doesn't feel great.
Parker, quick boot to ball. Griffin, he did exactly the same thing and he spirals out of trouble. Well read by Sam Reid. Now he's got Smith. Smith hardly ever wastes a footy on the left boot. Into the pocket it goes. Now Towers, he's going to run onto it. He's already kicked a goal. Back over to Lloyd. Just the 15 metres from Shaw onto the chest of Cunningham.
Borderline, but quickly identified there was a massive players deep. And just hit up the short target. So you think Harry Cunningham from this sort of distance would make the journey.
15 goals last year, played 25 games. Sydney Swans have been kicking well for goal so far in this game. We've seen Heaney, Goods, and now Cunningham. They haven't missed one. 4 straight for the Swans, out to an 11-point lead.
I think the kick from Ryan Griffin with, under enormous pressure, get it out of the area. In the old day, we're all saying, yeah, do that, so it's hard to come back with distance. But what happens, they've got a set man behind play. We can see now the numbers that the Swans have got. And good use of the ball. You're going to have a shot pretty quickly up the other end. So it's more about trying to work through it. And players have been drilled to be smart in the congested area to try and find someone. But that quick kick normally suits the defensive side pretty well.
Accurate kicking by the Swans. Gets them off to a good start. And here's Mumford, the former Swan. Roved by Jack. Haynes has got to go because Goods is coming. Towers stayed down. Disciplined play. Just a smother. Running onto it though, Robinson. Hampton's got him. And the umpire in good position to say that's holding the ball.
Yeah, that's a new interpretation, isn't it? We know that. The umpires have said, that probably would have been play on, tackled the ball, knocked out in the tackle. But with the new interpretation, holding the ball, you had a chance even of one step. I don't mind it if everybody understands that it's adjudicated that way. See, that's not 15 either.
That's
they don't usually play that in the back 50, do they?
That's forward 50, a bit different.
Yeah.
Well, he sure has hemmed himself in here.
Oh. And Heaney read it well and punches it over the line, and the Swans can set up and have a chance here.
Well, if you play on across there, you are hemmed in to make a decision, the right decision with the ball, instead of just kicking down the line outside 50 from where he started.
There appears to be a real concentration on switching, though, isn't there?
Yep, definitely.
Bird, Griffin on him. Plenty of players diving over the ball. Here we go. There's not a lot of room, as Tony mentioned.
And once you take that bounce, everyone on the ground knows where you're going.
Yep.
So Heaney's left his man pushed up.
You don't mind switching the play if you did it without playing on, because when you play on, you cannot come back the other way.
That's it.
Kelly swung around. There's a little handball in there from Bug. It was a quick one to Cornelia, and they worked it out okay. Cornelia got it back from Patfield in turn. They gave it to Davis. Stayed front and square there, Palmer. Discipline play again. Smith.
Oh, dangerous kick.
Cameron. Richards spoils down in front. Mitchell.
Great intercept.
On the ground, Mitchell. He's out there. So you'd think that Gary Rowan's not playing anymore because Mitchell's into the game.
Yep.
McCarthy probably should have given it. Laidler over the top. Reed picks it up. Hanbury by hand, back to Smith. Prefers to kick. Griffin the spoil over the top. Bug again. Oh, pinched by Mike Pike. Roving at ground level again. Second effort and a tackle. And a good one, in fact, on Davis. Well done, the big man.
Great work. And just to confirm, that'd be Buddy Franklin would be out of the game as well. And
so both subs into the game.
Into the game, yep.
I haven't confirmed the sub yet, Matty, just because I don't think Gary Rowan's come out of the rooms yet. I can't see the red vest.
Yeah. Here's Rampy. Jack thought about moving, spins quickly and gets back on his left. Goods the target. Or Kennedy. Again, strength winning out for the Swans.
And that's how he's become one of the elite midfielders in the competition because of his size. Now, he's playing on a key position defender, as we spoke about pre-game, Joel Patfull, who plays on the very biggest of forwards. But Kennedy was strong enough just to hold him out and take a great overhead grab.
So we haven't seen the Swans miss one so far. 3 set shots straight through. Can Kennedy keep that record going and make it 4 from 4? He can. And good skills on display. He gets his first, and it's a bigger lead now for Sydney, just getting out to a comfortable one of 17 points.
Yeah, they've been super impressive after a bit sluggish in the first 5 minutes. There's Gary Rowan just trying to tick things over. Still just only going through his paces at the moment, but he'll take his time. They'll assess it at quarter time, I'm sure. Johnny Longmire, in some ways he'd be fairly happy, but in many ways he'd be very, very concerned.
I reckon it's a great idea to give other blokes a chance to coach, and Stewie Jew's doing it today. But I bet you he's in there just wants to say a few words now and then about, you know, you cannot hand over all the way, I would think, as a senior coach. Very hard to do emotionally.
Which is a good thing, really. You don't want your coach to completely switch off.
No.
Back in the middle, Toby Green trying to bust out of a tackle. Off the ground went Bug. Forces it out to the outer wing. And Lloyd leads in the race, but Kelly's coming. Lloyd kept his feet. Done. Kelly went down. That's the winner of the contest there. Grundy to Bird. And again, Goods will be the target, but floating in, taking a nice mark, Shaw.
Again, looking for the switch. Well covered from Sydney.
And forced to chip it short to Bug and keep going. Gets it back. Don't overdo it here.
Pressure on here.
Yeah. And they have overdone it. They've given it up. Naismith, Parker, 1, 2, 3. Back to Parker. Got it from Mitchell from outside 50 for 9 points. Goods there. Haynes reads it better, and they want to go quickly as well. Whitfield now for the Giants, told to take it and go. Couple of bounces. Chips over the top. Tomlinson. An aerobic athlete just covers an enormous amount of territory. He's going to drill it into the middle to Callan. Beautiful pass.
It was a beautiful pass. Oh. High risk.
Oh, 50 metres too. He said after pushing the back after he's taken the mark.
Now, that's a 9-pointer. He would only just be inside of the forward 50 arc, so...
Here we go.
He's just very marginal. Very marginal.
I think you're being kind to say marginal.
Yeah, well, it's pre-season for everyone.
I think he said marginal, didn't he?
Yeah. Would have thought he might have taken the 9-point option from just a little bit further out. Get some footies to his local club.
No, that's right, yeah.
So Ward for the goal for the Giants, courtesy that 50-metre penalty against Kennedy. And he has hooked it, so not as accurate as the Swans at left of screen. The Giants have kicked a couple of behinds. They're down by 16.
Just on the Buddy Franklin update, boys, he is sitting up in the rooms at the moment. They've made the decision not to take him to the hospital at this stage. The doctor on site has given him an assessment, and they'll give him some time. Hopefully we'll know a little bit more at quarter time.
Thanks, Ben. We'll keep an eye on that.
Well, that's good news.
Sounding good, though. Yeah, Whitfield, top of the square kick, disciplined play. Down at ground level, Smith got a very unkind bounce, went straight over his head. He's back for a second effort. It comes free towards Green. He's tackled twice. Smith. Mumford got his big body in, shouldered out, tried to give it over the top to Cornelio. Coming through and doing well was Hoskin Elliott. Green's bundled out again. Quick hands from the Swans. Laidler got it from Hanbury. Now here's Core, takes it, plays on, heads back to where it just came from. This time they've got a body in front.
Chopping the arms too.
Yep. And it's Tomlinson.
Again, he's absolutely everywhere. I'm not sure. Jeremy Cameron doesn't need to go in there. When you got...
Why?
Well, he shouldn't go in there because the only thing that can happen is going to get it reversed.
It drives you batty. When you're a coach and you're sitting up and you need a goal, just, you know, NAB challenge or not, you need a goal. Just do not get involved in that. Do it when they've got the ball.
That's right. Yeah, no, not worth the risk there. Tomlinson, again involved. He's been everywhere.
So we've got Cameron, McCarthy, two tall forwards with goals. Tomlinson for the third. And so now all three tall forwards for the Giants on the board.
And he spent some time in the ruck, as we saw at the centre bounce up across half forward as well. And here's the pretty much a mark. And we'll just see Jeremy Cameron come in now. And this is where you just risk that's not necessary at all. You're just going to risk getting the ball turned over. And I'm sure that his coach wouldn't be happy, and Tomlinson wouldn't be too happy either if it was reversed. Not much in it, but no need to flirt with it. Just wonder, I mean, such a very good young player, Tomlinson. Where is his future? I mean, does he play wing, or he's just going to be one of those utilities that fits in and around Cameron and the McCarthy and Patton when he comes back?
Yeah, he's a filling man.
Boy, they moved the ball backwards by handball here and still got through the pressure. Well done.
Yeah, I thought they were going to turn it over there. Yeah. They may still do it. They're still just very handball happy there. Hampton over to Shield.
That's a smart kick.
Treloar. He just wanted some support, but Shield's a left footer. Now falls to McCarthy and turn to Bug. They'll need a kick shortly. Whitfield is a very good kick of the footy. He just hooked it a bit far.
There's some good run from behind there. Sort of Trelaw and Shield just ran off half back. So some good hard work.
I just thought it was two left footers just caught on the wrong side there. Kick from Hanbury out.
Tunnelling essentially.
And then come back to Shaw.
Oh boy.
That's gone the wrong way.
No, I think it has.
Yeah, I think it might have been just a bit of confusion there.
Again, handball from Cornelio to Ward. He's gone.
Well, that's held to him.
That's holding the ball.
Is that on the interpretation of that one, Lynchy? Take me through that. Hopefully we might get a look at it a bit later, but gee, bit harsh. Maybe he said he tried to
break the tackle. Cunningham's kick to Goods, almost a one-hander. Haynes completed the mark for him from the other side.
Haynes has been good across half-back as well.
Sure, not sure.
Well, he's got no one to kick to here. No one worked hard enough.
Tomlinson again. Now Palmer cutting through. He had Green off to his right, but he goes in the Cameron direction. And he couldn't get back in time, or can he? Richards got him. Smith helps out for the Swans. Looks up, finds Reid. Inside the last minute of this first quarter, the Swans up by 9. Rampy to slow it down. Pike is his target. Goes towards the boundary line, and Shaw makes sure it's over that line. There you go.
Take us through this one, Shorey.
Well, he said he took steps and he tried to break the tackle. Yeah, I reckon the umpire was right again on that new interpretation.
Yeah, that was that first step.
First move.
If he wanted to hit it, he could have.
Yep.
But they thought, no, I'll break this
tackle.
tackle.
Well done, the umpire.
Oh, the big mummy coming through.
He almost collected Mitchell. Griffin. He takes on the tackler. Mitchell back to Laidler. Good hands to Kennedy. Kennedy wobbles it inside the forward 50. And punched over the line by Core.
Yeah, huge pickup. Joel Patfull coming down from Brisbane.
Interesting, wasn't it? You talked about both Griffin and Patfull, two best and fairest, and both third in their respective best and fairest last year.
Yeah, massive asset for a young, developing group. Just have that experience and legitimate class acts.
Siren sounds to end the first quarter. Entertaining one at that from both teams. Sydney very accurate in front of goal, have kicked 5 straight. The Giants have had their opportunities to kick 3 goals, but all the key forwards involved for them. So good news on all fronts, but the most intriguing part of that first quarter is Buddy Franklin off on a stretcher. We'll be back with more after this break from Star Trek Oval, Sydney by 9. Welcome back to Star Trek Oval. The story from the first quarter, Lance Franklin knocked out in the rooms, the paramedics with him, and he's just trying to gather himself there, isn't he, Alistair?
Yeah, it was a solid knock to the face, and John Longmire would be very anxious about the condition of his star forward, as he would be with any of his players, but his team, on a positive note, were very impressive.
Let's get down to ground level with Ben Dixon.
Thanks, Matty. Alan, first quarter, not too bad in terms of contested ball, that, but your composure just dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, look, I thought we just lost our way a little bit ahead of the ball. When we went inside 50, we'd come up too high and gave their defenders a bit of an opportunity to kick-start their run and carry, which hurt us a little bit, resulting in a couple of shots on goal for us later in the quarter.
Last couple of weeks you've been spreading pretty well, the switch, but they're not allowing you on the outside. I mean, you contest the balls even, but uncontested plus 20.
Yeah, look, they're a good team. They put pressure on us, and we've probably fed the ball backwards a little bit too much, so we'll see if we can make an adjustment in the next quarter.
Thanks for your time.
Alan McConnell from the Giants, 3 goals, 3 to 5 goals. So it's a 9-point margin of the Sydney Swans. Inside 50s, not much in it, 13 to 11. So both teams have had their opportunities. There's Gary Rowan involved in that clash. And he heads to the bench.
Yeah, well, it appears that Mitchell has returned to the subs bench.
Well, you get the 20 minutes, don't you?
Yeah, and so Gary Rowan's back in the game. And
yep,
so
back in the green vest.
Back in the green vest. And obviously Buddy Franklin's out for the remainder of the day. And Robinson remains on the ground.
Well, I'm thinking if you've got a cork in the lower leg, you want to get out there and start getting it going pretty quickly. I'm a bit amazed that they've started him on the bench. Hopefully it's only for a couple of minutes and they might be thinking that's the way. But you just want to get it going, and then you'll find out quickly whether you can continue during the game. Entertaining first quarter, though.
Yep,
I thought the GWS started really well, and as Alan McConnell said, they ran with the ball and got over the lines, but then they started to... Sydney got a loose man across halfback, and they just couldn't get through the wall.
Just a decision-making once they got to sort of midfield, wasn't it?
Too much handball, too, I think, to keep control by foot.
Jack for the Swans. Whitfield grabs it, gets through some traffic and gave it to Cornelio. He throws it on the boot and gets a fair bit of distance, but Grundy reads it best for the Swans. And he wants to use Rampy by hand. And Rampy does a similar thing and gets the 1-2 from Hanbury, and they run it out nicely. Cunningham just got his kick in time. Spoil from Davis. Goods is lurking. Haynes back. Tidies up again. That's some good things, as Lynchy mentioned. Now here's Whitfield.
Speaking of good things,
He can really hurt sides, can't he, with his run and carry, because he kicks like that.
just
At full pace, he hits targets.
and for the most part of the pre-season had a very good pre-season, had some injury issues last year, but he could be a player that really goes to the next level.
Well, he's a number 1 draft pick.
Yep.
We forget that there's a few out there, isn't there? Nice mark by Reid.
Well, GWS have got 17 round 1 draft picks on their list, boys.
Yep.
I think it's 7 or 8 more than any other side in the competition.
And I think, for memory...
And that's with Griffin and someone else involved.
Yeah, I haven't got the stats in front of me, but the Swans are at they're the polar opposite.
They've got 2.
They've got nothing.
They've still got some talent. There's one there, the best and fairest winner, Parker. But they've lost it here, Sydney. And Mumford is going to launch and kick it as long as he can. Kicks to a contest. Grundy back. Tomlinson with him. Sweats on top of him.
Oh,
Jeddah.
well,
That was very well done.
Oh, just sliced through brilliantly. Look at him go.
Well, this is what Swan supporters are looking forward to seeing this year.
The afterburners went on. He got it all the way to the middle of the ground. And then the kick's a good one. Pat for the spoil. Not out of trouble yet, the Giants. And it's a high tackle, though, so they do win the free kick. Phil Davis will take it. Look at, here's Lewis.
Yeah, great push out from Grundy to get Jeddah into space.
Well, so, you know, we saw the Swans up at the Coffs Harbour, so it's that Malcheski role. Is it Jeddah? Is it Rowan? Trying to find that really attacking runner off the half-back. That one is play on. It's down low for Mike Pike. Patfull through it. Jack. Quick handball. There was a hand in there from Mumford. It got it over to Kelly, who couldn't get the kick away. Parker. Another hand in there, this time from Griffin. Rampy getting plenty of the ball. Back to Smith. Hooks it round the corner. Hanbury. A hold, I reckon, against Davis. It'll be Hanbury's kick.
Yeah, the balance with that Lewis Jeddah thing is defensively, if there's no pressure in midfield, will he get caught out if they take him a little bit deeper?
Yep.
It's a fine balance, but one they'll work out. Where they've got numbers behind the ball, at least he links up, and we just saw how devastating it was out of halfback.
Just think Hanbury's going to look to pass off here, or, just didn't want to kick a goal. Goods got to get through 3 or 4. And he gets a little bit high on top of Smith. He won't be happy there, the Triple Brownlow medalist.
Now,
He's got enough credits to get away.
yeah, that might have been. Anybody else would have got 50
That's
then.
right.
Brownlows.
Good jump from Rampy. Smith. Laidler to Rampy.
Yeah, numbers here, the Swans.
Lloyd.
That's right.
They'll go further with the switch to Richards because Reid has been opened up on the other side. Cameron closed it down pretty quick, but they've still got numbers, as Tony mentioned. Grundy onto the chest of Cunningham.
Now they'll need to slow things up because, again, the Giants have covered very well.
Well, that's a 50-50
At
target.
And well played by Whitfield to give it over to Toby Green. Sees it open goal square. Went for 9 points. And the difference between the two teams is just the finishing in front of goal at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was unusual for the Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
Normally they've got the patience. They won't take that risky pass into the corridor, risk the turnover and get opened up.
Grundy combines with his key defender mate in Richards. And he goes a little bit wider to Laidler. Just pulled the kick. And some patience shown there. Now Jeddah away by the handball from Smith. Perfect pass to Naismith. And he tries to draw the man, tries to give it off to Lloyd. And gets up and under that, so that's not good delivery. Chance for Core. Good take. Done some good things already.
Yeah, he's looked handy. I've enjoyed Haynes back there as well. A few of the younger players for GWS standing up, showing that they're very much capable of playing round one.
Tomlinson, precision pass to Palmer. Mumford directs the traffic, says kick it to Shield. Good play by the more experienced man. He got out of the way and just said kick it to him and now come back to me. It was all directed beautifully there by Steven Spielberg. Mumford didn't come off. Shield to try and pinch it back. And he got a hand on it, Mummy. Shield again. Quick hands. Bug had plenty of it in the first quarter. Kelly. Green. A bit fortunate there because I reckon he slipped, didn't he?
He did. He slipped, dropped down in the tackle, and understandably, Lloyd's not overly impressed with that one. So, a 50-metre penalty down the field in the goal square.
Gary Rowan back on the ground, boys.
Thanks, Ben. So that's good news for Sydney. Rowan back and Mitchell back as the subs we touched on. 50-metre penalty in the goal square. Who was holding who?
It may have been against Smith. Is it in the goal square? I think he was...
it's Laidler there now.
It might have been Laidler then. Yeah, so just on the far pocket, there was some pushing, and he's grabbed a jumper.
So it was a very tough kick, turned into an absolute gimme for Toby Green, and he gets the Giants first for the quarter and gets them back within 2 points.
Yeah, probably fortunate on 2 counts for Toby Green. The free kick was there, but it was a lucky one because he slipped down, which forced Lloyd to get him high, and then obviously the free kick's gone against Laidler down in the goal square. So here's the initial free kick, high, so he drops down.
Yeah, well, no, you got to pay that. You have to pay.
Well, you have to pay it, but he has dropped down in there. That's what Lloyd is saying.
It was more of a slip, came into the level of the tackle instead of ducking the head, so that's what he got away with that. I don't know where the other free kick come from.
Yeah, I'm sure it was in the build-up, Laidler pushing with his direct opponent.
Playing more of a forward today, Green, rather than rotating through the midfield. He sort of fought wing forward. The bounce again.
Well, even the umpires need a bit of confidence coming into the AFL season, 2 weeks away. Yeah, you're bouncing and, you know.
Pike went early. Mumford stayed down and gave it to Treloar. Quick hands by Ward to Shield. Cameron pats it over towards Palmer, a little bit fierce with it.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jeremy Cameron stay at this stoppage. Teddy Richards in there. Just keep him there and then bolt back towards goal. Just keep turning him around as much as you can. He'll love you starting inside 50 with players around you.
Yep.
Just something different as a setup and see what Teddy Richards do. Will he drop off and leave Cameron there? Pretty dangerous player to do that too.
Mumford over the top. Would have been in the Cameron direction if he stayed there, Tony. Ward, well done to get it to Mumford. The kick from Bug wasn't a good one. It's tidied up by Hanbury for Sydney. Out to Heaney. Can keep going if he wants to. Senses that situation. Puts it on the boot out in front of Robinson. Came on for Franklin. Naismith. Good tackle, Davis.
Too slow.
Too slow and wrong option. You had to give the hands quickly to...
From the ground.
Yeah, straight to, I think it was Gary Rowan was running past.
Kick by Hampton to no one in particular there for the Giants, and Grundy happy to roll it over the line. Here's a tackle from Davis.
You just see...
Naismith goes down. Well, he wasn't at ground level, matter of fact. It was bounced up a little bit. If normally the team rule is if you pick that off with your toenails, it should be flicked up straight away to someone who's in your space.
Yeah,
Gary Rowan just running straight across his eyes. Had to give it first up.
Again, Kennedy with a holding free kick. He takes it down for Sydney, and he just keeps it low to Jetta. Out wider to Reece Shaw. And some patience here being shown by the Swans, just slowing it down. Parker coming up for disposal, number 14. He started his NAB challenge just where he left off from last season. He's a prolific ball winner. Ball comes out of that contest. Kelly picked it up and gave it off to Whitfield, but just a hand in there from Lloyd. Now to Cunningham. Kennedy, arms free, back to Cunningham. Handballed it straight to Bug. Have to be careful there, Bug. And he gets the benefit of the doubt from the umpire, but careful punching it over the line when they're on your own like that.
1 metre rocks, that's it, 100 metre.
Mumford towards Ward. Kennedy first to it. Smith. Hanbury overruns it. Palmer on hands and knees, desperately trying to find it. Hanbury got it again. Quick kick out of the pack by Treloar. It floats up high. Kelly did well to arrive, and it's a good, strong ball. He gets 30 metres on it. Here comes big Cam McCarthy. Slides in, tries to get it back towards Kelly. Needs to get it away. Sydney might win out with numbers here. Grundy looked up, didn't see much. Had to go back to Lloyd. Didn't panic. Cunningham, Rampy, so important for this Swan side now. And he just turns and looks up and sees Josh Kennedy.
Dane Rampy, with Malcheski now moved on, he has to play a massive part.
Yeah,
I think he'll be the go-to man a lot with his kicking skills.
Yeah, I agree.
He's been another great story, hasn't he? Rampy, the way he's come in off the rookie list.
He's on the on play here.
Yeah, there's a wrestle between Hampton and Heaney. It's almost in alphabetical order. And he's going to...
they both had players had a go at that one. They were, it's a shallow streak, and I don't know how you can pick one out of the other because they both had headlocks on.
You'd have to say the umpire might have been watching the whole thing because from what we could see, it was 50-50. But anyway.
Kieran Jack really wants to give this off.
Square, I think.
But
left foot here should suit him.
Sneaky chance.
Yeah, kicking into a little breeze, cross breeze, so left foot should suit. Yeah,
it's not bad. See it come back. Oh, gee, it was a good kick. Just floated across.
Not many left footers that can't kick 50 metres, Shorey.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm surprised it took till the second quarter, Lynchy. So good contest.
It is a good contest. They've worked their way back into this quite nicely, the Giants, where the Swans have been very impressive, especially the latter stages of that first term. But the first half of this second term, the Giants have worked well.
Whitfield is forced to kick it up high. That's what the Swans wanted. Patfull.
Well done.
He did that quite easily. Tomlinson, now he took his time there. That's holding the ball because that's that first thought that he decided not to handle and took on the tackle.
And again, as Shorey said in the first term, with that interpretation, I think everyone's fine with that, as long as it's consistent. It's very clear, and it's trying to make it easier for the umpires as well.
So far, what we've seen in the NAB Challenge, it has been consistent.
Yeah, I like it.
They've done very well with it.
Yep. That comes out towards Hanbury, dives out and gets the handball to Rampy, who fancies himself for 9 points. It's coming back right to the line. Davis wins a free kick on the line. It won't be a score.
And just to follow on that interpretation, I reckon that's good for the umpires too, because if you look like you're trying to brush a tackle or you're trying to second guess what you're doing the ball, that's your option.
Yeah, that's right.
And they know that. I reckon it really streamlines a lot of those interpretations.
Hanbury in the hands of the trainers.
Yeah,
head knock.
The way they moved the ball around that outer side there, the Giants, that was very impressive. Whitfield got it to McCarthy and turned Palmer. Now he's not sure, and they may have overdone it. Chance for Griffin. A little shimmy to the right and then hooks it around the corner. That's why. That's why he's a big recruit for the Giants. How's the polish from Ryan Griffin? Goal.
Isn't he an impressive player? As Dan Hanbury just leads the field. Now he's dived into a contest here and hit Callum Ward's knee, or no, it's the elbow. So totally accidental. But he's copped a nasty whack to the nose. So he's probably seen a few stars go off, have a rest for a few minutes.
You're spot on, Lynchy. He was down for a while, and then the doctor came out to assess him. He was trying to push him away, and he said, "No, come off and have a look." And he was actually trying to crack his neck, though he'd been obviously just jolted a little bit there.
I saw Ryan Griffin over the Christmas break, matter of fact. Yapped to him, gee, he looked fantastic physically, but he just said he needed a break, that he needed a change in his whole football life, and was really looking forward to it. Of course he would, but that was the reason behind it. And no, nothing sinister about it, just, needed a spell.
So the Giants back in front. They now lead by 3 points as Reece Shaw tries to do something about it for the Swans. The kick goes over the top of Goods, but he got a hand in there to force it over the boundary line.
Adam Goods keeps doing that sort of stuff. He can play for as long as he wants. We know offensively he's extremely dangerous, but just second efforts out of the contest there, but hits the ground, quickly reacts, and smothers us over the line.
Treloar got one a bit high, but he did duck the head, and we've got a ball up again.
On the Ryan Griffin thing, I think Western Bulldogs supporters would look at the midfield GWS and see Ward and Griffin, two experienced, very, very good players, now playing for the opposition.
You've got to have an environment that players want to play in, and by the sounds of it, that's what Ryan just thought, no, I've had enough of this. But he does bolster an amazing midfield when you talk about #1 draft picks.
He's had 8 disposals, but he's had as many tackles as anyone on the ground, so he does it both ways.
Yeah, so there's a couple of those names, Green to Treloar, a couple of high draft picks. Or priority picks.
Good switch here. They've done this well. They have really done it well. Now you've got to hit the target, and
corridor's open.
Oh, that's a dangerous kick.
It didn't hit the target, Tony.
Yeah,
oh, no. There's brother against brother there.
Just a little cheapy from the big brother.
Advantage paid. Giants down inside 50. A chance here. Ball at ground level. Shield gets support. Hoskin Elliott's been reasonably quiet, but good vision from him. Finds Cameron, and he takes a shot from 35 to 40 metres out.
Yeah, that build-up, it was identified to get the ball into the corridor to Heath Shaw, but it was the elevated kick that was no good, and in the end, they've been able to work it up the field. And Jeremy Cameron will have a shot from his preferred side on the left slipper.
Has one. It was a nice finish earlier in the game. That looks pretty good, although it's just starting to drift.
She's good.
No, it just held its line, and Cameron gets his second, and the Giants get their third for the quarter.
And that's four unanswered goals to GWS.
Take us through this one, Tony.
Well, Reece Shaw, takes his eye off the ball, so they're calling that a block these days, and I think the other Shaw brother took half a dive anyway, but he did take his eye off the ball, and as soon as that happens, the umpires are going to play blocks now. So, they'll be talking about that one after the match, I would think. A good setup here. Kept the ball alive inside 50, and a beautiful finish.
Yeah, nicely weighted kick. Jeremy Cameron just having a spell. And great kick for goal as well. His 2 shots have been nice, relaxed shots.
They've been nice, haven't they? Yeah.
Here's the paramedics have come in to have a look at Buddy Franklin. We have seen that he has been up and walking around the room, so... Well,
I would think if they brought the ambulance in for that, they are thinking he needs x-rays on something to check or whatever. There's no... Look, he's conscious now, so it's not about the concussion, you would think. It's other issues, I would think.
Do a full service, I would have thought.
A full check-up.
Yep.
Haynes, as Lynchy mentioned, has done a few good things. He's getting hold of the footy in the back 50 for the Giants. The kick comes forward, but now Heaney's under some pressure for Sydney.
Good pressure.
Oh. There's Buddy Franklin.
Yep.
In the box there, just looks like he's very alert, just jumping in the back of the ambulance and head off for those assessments at the hospital.
Well, arguably the biggest name in the game in an ambulance, so there's some news there. Kelly for the Giants. They've looked good in this second quarter. They're on top of the Swans at the moment. Richards just forced underneath it. Laidler got a hand in at the right time. They get possession here, Sydney. Grundy, long looping handball. Hanbury's back out there. That's good news. Just a little bump from McCarthy downfield. Towers will take it.
So just on Buddy Franklin from the Swans, the news is that he's been cleared of any serious issues. So that would include facial fractures, which is good. Just going to go to Canberra Hospital for an assessment, further assessment.
Just to double check and tick all the boxes.
You'd have to have extras, you would think, just to check out everything.
Jetta for 9 points. He was just waiting for the little handball, and unfortunately for him, he's just tugged it left.
Push out, guys. 2 more metres.
Adam Tomlinson's off on the bench here, guys. He's limping as well, and he's got some blood coming out of the back of his head, which the doctor's having a pretty good look at the moment.
It's all happening. A few head collisions. We've had Rowan and Franklin, Hanbury, and now Tomlinson. This is Davis. Shorts it to McCarthy. And a big switch again.
And they've got the extra number if they can go one more kick, centre wing.
Oh, he sends in a helicopter to Treloar, but he gets it.
How'd that hit him?
Precision passing. And that's a little bit risky as well. Out came Smith. It's pretty tough. Parker, he went to ground and won the free kick. He just fell for it.
He did. The initial tackle was okay, but then Parker dropped down. Great kick out in front.
Good vision from Parker. Sets a task, though, for Smith. On his left, he drills it in low. He's hoping for Robinson. He misses his target. Shaw, clever footy. Kept it in play, tapped it back to Bug. And the Giants should run it out. Canelio, though, just wants to slow it down a tad before chipping towards Smith. Missed his target.
He's under the pump here.
Yeah, made it hard for him. All he had to do was find him, but now Sydney. Bird shovels it back. Reed taps it. Canelio to maybe make amends. Touched off the boot. Griffin tapped it
Well done.
cleverly in the direction of Reece Palmer, who spins out of trouble, then couldn't get his kick. He's holding the ball. Gary Rowan back out there. Kennedy just pushes Core away. That's a learning experience for him. Haynes and Heaney. Core should have run it out of bounds. So a real sort of...
Two learning experiences.
Yeah, you just go to the video and go, okay, next time you're in this situation, you do this.
Just moved himself to the front row.
Did I say it early? Did I call it early?
He was nice and relaxed early, but 4 unanswered goals has seen Big Horse just jump in the front seats.
Bird quickly got boot to ball and he gets it into a dangerous spot for Sydney. Haynes will win a free kick.
Gee, that was good.
He went in low. He's marked the ball well. A couple of intercept marks as well.
Yeah, he's done some good things, but
And
that's not good. That's a
not
terrible
great at
kick. Heaney, good hands, shouldered free, gave it over to Goods. Robinson, he
ducked
looked
his
up.
head.
Yep, he may still get away with it, and he has. That's not how you do it textbook style, but a goal to Sydney, one they needed, given the fact that the Giants kicked the last 3, and we now have a game that's just a 2-point game.
Yeah, no, very important to get that free kick. This is the turnover here. Just Haynes just going back into the corridor. Short chip, poorly executed as well. And yeah, the first option was probably the go, but he's got out of trouble there as young Robinson. So a good result for the Sydney Swans, and Horse has only been in the front rows for a couple of minutes, and the Swans are on the board.
Well, Thomas Bug then, you should have seen him off the camera. He just knew that the tackle wasn't good enough on that first occasion. Had to make that stick.
Tomlinson's been cleaned up, boys. He's back on the ground now.
Parker with a quick clearance for Sydney. Robinson, who just kicked that goal, almost a similar situation. This time he's caught. Hampton's going to take them on. Handball to Mumford, wants support. Yeah. After, it's free kick's going to go against Mumford and back for the Swans. After Mumford got rid of it, high on Hanbury.
Hanbury went down.
That's how I saw it, okay, from where I was.
So just interested to see that just slightly off the ball.
Thanks, Dan.
Mumford arguing his case to no avail as Hanbury just looks up and just sees a man in a little bit of a hole, and that's Gary Rowan.
That's loose checking. A number of the Giants midfielders had dropped deeper into the forward 50 to protect.
Oh, that's it. Oh, gee, that was a bit harsh. I thought he hit him in the chest.
In the chest?
He's a big man. He'll make you, if you run balance and you're not waiting for the contact, he'll make you go
Put
down
you
hard,
down,
no doubt.
Here's Gary Rowan. Good to see he's back out there. From just on the 50 for 6 points. That's a superb finish from Gary Rowan. Swans are back in front. 2 in a row.
Well, the issue with that, and you called it, that was slack marking, but there was 4 or 5 GWS players together, and they didn't talk to spread.
Yep.
And there was you only needed another 2 metres. Let's have a look. Now, does he hit him in the head? If he hits him in the...
Oh, it slips up.
I think that's... Oh, gee, I reckon that's pretty tough.
Up?
Pretty tough. I think that's just play on. But anyway, the umpire must have thought that he hit him in the jaw or...
You're spot on, though, with that defensive surge back. Everyone just pushed back to protect the long deep ball.
Mumford back in the action, this time in the ruck against Naismith. Beautifully roved by Bird and slipped it quickly to Hanbury. Gets a bit of distance with the kick. Kennedy trying to push Patfull off it. Patfull stands tall and stands firm and gave it over to Heath Shaw. Whitfield balances it.
Hanbury's had a good term. 15 disposals for the half so far. Parker 16. Good test just in the few minutes leading up to half-time for the Giants. Can't allow another goal from Sydney.
Oh, Curtly Hampton put himself under pressure, but did well to get around it.
Yeah, he got out of jail there. Swans have the numbers, and they'll get a free kick against Mumford again.
Yeah, he's outnumbered 3-on-1, so...
I'll just hold one of them.
Yeah, just try to take the whole
take
pack
the biggest
down.
one.
That's something the Swans do extremely well. One defender in Grundy or Richards usually just locks down the big forward and gets support from over the back. Always prepared to leave their direct opponents to go and assist in the air.
Big pack forms. Naismith, the likely rover. Bird again in close, still managed to get it out. Parker just in time, but now the Giants have it through Griffin. Gives it off to Palmer, caught on his wrong side. Ahead towards Kelly, and Smith's a hard man to beat in that situation, one-on-one. We've got 1.5 minutes remaining before half-time. 3 goals to 2 in this quarter for the Giants.
Gee, Josh Kelly's played fairly deep this week. I'd love to see him. I think he's just a genuine midfielder who can go forward at times, but he's played nearly out of the goal square on a number of occasions.
He was down low anyway, so it was pretty hard for Parker to tackle him. Ward.
Sam Reid sitting right behind play. He should mark this ball.
He was in a good spot.
And he didn't.
He didn't, but he gets help from Grundy. Shaw. Smith going for deliberate. Boundary umpire in good position to say it was above the knee, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
It's pretty close there. Now see, Lockie Whitfield just came off that last marking contest. Just came in from the side and just got squished. Basically, there was Davis, Mumford, Haynes over the back. Very sore.
Yeah, just didn't want to be there. Off the ground by Palmer, and a boundary throw in, so still a chance for the Giants to set up at this situation.
Well, there's some places just little blokes shouldn't be going.
Yeah.
And when there was about 315 kilos of mass coming together.
He's realised as the pack was coming together, I bought tickets to the wrong movie here.
They're just assessing his left hamstring, boys. He's got it up high.
Yep.
Yeah, big corky, I think it would have been.
There's a bit of push and shove again. Hanbury not happy with Ward.
Spilling over a bit.
Jetta involved again.
Again, I don't think coaches want this sort of stuff going on. NAB 3. Round 1's just around the corner.
Look at Dan Hanbury. Dan Hanbury's out. That's Free Shaw in there too, but Dan Hanbury's out on the outside. I think he was in the initial. He's got the ball.
Let it go.
Jetta's lost his jumper.
Let it go, please. Let it go.
But look, I'm not trying to be critical here of the umpires, but players come in and drag the bloke to the ground. Pay a free kick for that.
Yeah.
You grab a player by the jumper and throw him to the ground.
Yep.
It's not time off. That's a free kick.
Yeah, you've got to fly the flag too. You don't want to be dominated by anybody. But again, we always say when you're in control of the ball, they can do anything to you. Just don't give the ball up.
Bird, high ball up, and Rowan moving well. It just shorts it. Cunningham. And the Swans go forward. Time for a goal late in the half. Davis in front, punching towards the boundary. Still not out of play yet. And the siren sounds. A chance for Leroy Jetta to go get a new jumper. He's playing in, well, some sort of shift.
It's not a lot there.
No.
When you're in reasonable nick, you don't want to change the jumper too quick.
No, you can just sort of leave it out there for a while. But again, it's an entertaining contest. There's a bit of feeling in the game. We've seen a couple of times tempers flare. The Giants really on top early in that quarter. Yeah, there's still a bit of push and shove. Hanbury not happy. Hasn't been happy all quarter. He's been hit in the head a few times. And
bit of a verbal between Hanbury and Ward.
Yeah.
Still goes on.
So it's a 4-point margin. The Giants are down. Let's hear from one of them, and it's Adam Treloar with Ben Dixon.
Thanks, Matty. Bit of heat in the game, Adam.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think although it's a practice match, it doesn't feel like one. It's a lot of heat out here. So hopefully we can come out in the second half and beat them.
Bit of composure that quarter once again. I mean, Alan McConnell, we had a chat to him. He just said you wasted a bit of ball. It's through the middle of the ground that's killing it at the moment.
Absolutely. I think overuse with the handball. It's been a big issue for us in the NAB Cup. Although we've won the first 2 games, we sort of tend to overuse it. So hopefully in the second half we don't overuse it and just get a long forward to the big tall forwards.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, mate.
Half-time in this NAB Challenge game from Star Trek Oval in Canberra. It's the Swans leading the Giants by 4.